We have lived here for over 40 years. We're the ethnic Baju people, once sea nomads. Now we live by the beach. We want to live here forever, to strengthen this village and keep it strong.
Abdul Rayes Bin is the leader of Layan Besar, a village facing the threat of demolition. The 20 families that live here are among the hundreds of thousands of stateless people in the Malaysian state of Sabah. No country considers them citizens. Many live in deep poverty, and their plight is a stark contrast to the majority of residents of the wealthiest large country in Southeast Asia. This is Anne Baltazar, who has studied their communities for years.
There's a recent statistics that 1/3 of the population are non-citizens. I think that would be quite accurate.
According to the UN, quote, there are at least 10 million people worldwide who are denied a nationality. Their problem often remains unseen and unheard, leaving them marginalized and invisible to the wider community. Malaysia's official poverty rate is just 0.3%. But a recent UN fact-finding mission found it's actually much higher.
In reality, Malaysia seems to have a poverty rate which is closer to that of most other countries, and that is something like 15%.
Those numbers are so low in part because the stateless people aren't counted in official tallies, and critics say the government uses these artificially low numbers to avoid assisting those living in deep poverty. Kota Kinabalu is the capital of Sabah, located in the north of the island of Borneo, the easternmost part of Malaysia. It is a tourist destination known for its coastline, beaches, and street markets. But unknown thousands live in the shadows in villages without running water or electricity. Some have lived here for generations, but because they lack official documentation, they're denied access to government programs.
They don't have access to education, they don't have access to public health care, they basically don't have access to anything.
A lack of access to schools is a major problem for stateless youth.
So without having education, without having a place where they can go to and learn, they are exposed to other things. And they become easy prey to syndicates. So we have begging syndicates, we have there's also human trafficking happening here.
Being undocumented means it's hard for them to advocate for themselves. But a local youth movement has taken up their cause, launching a campaign to halt the village's demolition and building and running schools in the village. This sign warns passerbys to keep out.
Okay, basically we are inside the university. Going down there is a community, but the university actually doesn't allow us to pass by.
But this hasn't deterred this group of students at the University of Malaysia, Sabah. They created a movement to help aid the community of stateless people located a short walk from their campus.
My name is Minantang. I'm from Tawau, Sabah, Malaysia.
This is Mukmin Nantag, founder of Borneo Komrad, the youth organization that advocates for stateless children. He brought us to a village which is home to about 20 families. It's not accessible by road, only by beach or this trail through the forest. About 60 children live in this village. Because they are stateless or undocumented, going to a government school outside their village puts them at risk of encountering police, who can detain them if they don't pay a bribe. That's why the student movement Borneo Komrad started a school here. The school was originally in this clearing, but a permanent structure was built in April. It's a non-traditional alternative school that focuses on the needs of the students. Wan Shakila started off as a volunteer, but now administers the 3 schools run by Borneo Komrad.
She is Saima, 14 years old. Yeah, one of our students here. This is her first school. She knows how to write and read.
My name is Madar. I have a child studying in the school in the village. I believe the school is good. The children are learning and read and write, and that really helps the village a lot.
So basically, this is the space for the kids to study and learn. So those tables are also made by these the UMS students. So we will arrange the tables here, and the teacher will sit here and teach everyone. So we got around 25 students here. They didn't have basic education, so they're zero. Although they are 15 or 16, they didn't know how to read and write. Yeah, so that's why we gathered them all.
Despite the challenges, this village is blessed with tremendous natural beauty. on a sloping hill overlooking the South China Sea. The sunsets are breathtaking. But the residents do live in deep poverty. There's no running water or electricity. As many as a dozen people live inside these walls that provide little protection from the elements. To make matters worse, there's little access to modern medicine.
I can't work because I am ill.
Preventable or curable disease can kill.
I have very bad asthma and get breathless very easily.
Malaysia offers free healthcare for citizens, but for stateless people, the cost of medical care can be prohibitive, and the fear of arrest also keeps them away.
More than 50% of the children have close family members who have been arrested.
10 of his family members live with him here. I asked him what gives him hope.
My hope is my children will go to school and get an education. My children will make some change, which is to make our family better. And because I'm already old and sick and can't work, my children are my hope. I am 45 years old.
Since he was unable to make the short walk, he asked his wife to take us to the graveyard on a hill just above their home. Buried there is his son, who recently died from a skin infection, a curable illness, along with several young grandchildren who have also recently passed away. Despite all of these challenges, the villagers face a more pressing threat.
All the buildings have been spray painted with this blue text, which means the government has marked them for demolition.
Because Malaysia's stateless people are not considered citizens, they are demonized and stereotyped in similar ways immigrants are in the West.
When there are crimes or anything, fire or whatever, it's always blamed on, here they would say illegal immigrants.
The government argues because the villagers are undocumented, they could be harboring criminals or even terrorists. But advocates like Neldi Jolo says this underscores the need for systemic solutions.
We just don't know why it's not looking at the solutions of long-term solutions for them to get documented. And there are also many suggestions that instead of getting new workers from outside the country, it's better to legalize this undocumented so that we can hire them legally.
Villagers sought the help of Borneo Komrad.
We made a demonstration, a protest in front of the city council, the office of Parliament Sepanggar, which is responsible here to take care of this part.
Villagers remain steadfast in their desire to stay in the village that has been their home for decades.
We want people to know we want to live in this village. This is our home.